Hey, hey YouTube, hey watchers, hey everybody, what's up? I'm Liora Sophie, and I have eaten 1.5 donuts as of right now, which is not terrible. It's definitely been worse in the past, but these are Dunkin' Donuts, so it's not what I'm used to on this holiday of Jewish fried food. So, how's everybody doing? How is the holiday season treating you? I personally am not really feeling it. I mean, in a good way. I'll tell you why. It's not that I'm not into it. It's that I'm not feeling like any holiday stress, sort of. Because it's like, all right, it's Hanukkah, whatever. We light candles, we eat fried stuff. Okay. So it's not, it's not like it's not such a huge overwhelming holiday like it seems like Christmas is for a lot of people, which is good. So things are pretty chill back here. We got a fire. There's my fire. Ooh, it looks purple on screen. And I had a couple friends here just a little while ago, and we lit candles together, and we had hot cider with rum, and we talked, and we ate Dunkin' Donuts. And that was my official Hanukkah celebration, and I think it was very satisfactory. Also, I met Israelis in the bank today. I did not. That was a surprise. I mean, it wasn't like, it's not like I don't know that there are Israelis all over the world, and it's, you meet people that are traveling. When I was in Canada, everywhere we went, we heard people speaking Hebrew. It's just a thing. Israelis travel, so you hear them speaking Hebrew all over the world, and so it makes sense, for like big touristy places like the Rocky Mountains. But I did not expect to hear perfectly fluent Hebrew in Florence Bank in downtown Northampton. That was a surprise, and that was funny. So I went up and said hi, and then we had them over for my Hanukkah candle lighting. So that was fun. So what? Tell me how you're doing. Hi, Josie. Hi. How are you? How's it going? And tell me what you're working on. I'm not writing tonight. I am giving myself a little bit of a break, which I know is not, necessarily the most efficient strategy if what I want is to nurture the inspiration. But I do deserve a break. I finished my first draft, so I deserve a break. And what I'm working on right now is actually I'm going to do some work for my mom. She's been bugging me about it forever, and I'm like, well, can you wait till NaNoWriMo's over? Can you just wait till I finish blah, blah, blah. So now I finished my first draft. I made a big post on Facebook, and she's like, okay, so can you do work for me now? And so, yeah, I'm going to do that. So, yeah. So I have to do some graphic design and a little bit of website upkeep. And that's going to be my first thing. And if I finish all that, then I'm going to do more work on my funny Jewish holiday themed card games, which I'm working on. So that's what I'm working on. And I don't see anybody else responding. So you guys just take your time, open up all your files, get all your things together. And why don't we go ahead and start a sprint? I'm gonna get my my work clock. Ooh. Okay. All right. Is everybody ready? By the way, this fireplace that's in the this fireplace that's in the timer is that fireplace. Yep, same fireplace, just from a different angle. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So take 20 minutes, and when we get back, tell me how you did, and we can talk a bit about the women heroes of Channukah. On your marks, get set, go. Hey guys. Hey everybody. What's up? Okay. Hold on. So, hi Eva. Hello Yaza. What's up? So, how did everybody do? If you did productive things during the stream, and if you didn't, welcome. We're not actually on this very tight break schedule. It's very silly. I'm just... So, let's see. What did I do? What did I do in that stream, in that sprint? I did... I think I stopped here. So... One, two, three, four. I made 4 infographics and I started the 5th one. And that's not to like sound super overwhelming. It was like super easy. All I had to do was copy the new text into the old template of the infographic and then like just, you know, change the 3 to 4 in white into 6% in white. So that was all. Hello, new people. Hello, Stewie. Hello, Very Bad Books. Hi. Hi, everybody. I have to stoke the fire because I have a real fireplace. And we have this wood that is not very dry, so it needs to, like, it takes a long time to warm up. And so you have to, like, really stoke it all the time. Has to get stoked. Anyway. So yeah, so that's what I did, working on my mom's website, because finally I have time now that I am, you know, finished my first draft, so I can officially do work for her that she's been asking me to get done for ages. Let's see. Got a 1.5 pages done. That's not bad. I always find it's harder for me to handwrite. Like, I used to prefer handwriting, and I have a thing about how the paper feels. I always go for paper feel, you know, and I used to really like it, but at a certain point, I just couldn't get the ideas out of my head fast enough. So, it became frustrating. And that's when I switched over to typing, because it just sort of, the speed of the typing kind of caught up to the speed of my thoughts. So that is what changed. Thanks, Stewie. Oh, Eva. I took a break from writing. I finished my first draft and I was like, I deserve a break, which I do. So I took like 2 whole days. So yes, boss women, that's what we're here to talk about. So I'm still alive. I'm still around. I just, like, you know, I let my people go. Get the reference? Get it? Ha ha ha. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so you know, on the other hand, Isaac Bashevis Singer said the wastebasket is the writer's best friend. So I think both philosophies are probably everything in moderation, right? I do, handwritten stuff always feels really sentimental to me. You know what I like doing? Handwritten letters. I send handwritten letters. I used to send them from Israel to the people in the States, and now that I'm in the States, I send them to people in Israel. And it always feels nice. First of all, it's amazing to get mail these days when we're so, everything is by email, and you get a handwritten letter. That's really fun. And it's just nice, to have hold a piece of paper and feel like a person's hand just went over this. They sat down with this piece of paper and they thought about what they wanted to say to me and they wrote it down. And I think it's romantic. So, does anybody want to hear about the boss women of Channukah? Because I have to warn you, not all the stories are happy. But there are boss women, and it's important to acknowledge them because, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Can you guys tell me, what have you heard about Channukah heroes? We know we discussed last week, the antagonists of Channukah and what do you know about the heroes? What do you know about the protagonists of Channukah? You guys know, who are the stars of Channukah? If they were fighting against the Greeks, who did the fighting? Who was heading the army? And who are the women heroes that stand out? So, okay, so there is so the thing about Channukah, the Channukah story, when you're a kid and you hear the Channukah story, it's really magical and cute. It's like the Maccabees fought heroically against the big bad Greeks, and they, didn't have anything, and there were only 5 of them, and then they defeated the hundreds of Antiochus's army, and blah blah blah, and then and it's all miracles and amazing and numbers. There was no chance, but God was on their side, and and then they wanted to light the menorah, but they didn't have any oil, and the Greeks had smashed all the oils and they made everything impure. And then there was this one little bottle, but they found this one little bottle that was still sealed, but it was only enough for 1 day's light, and it would have taken 8 more days for the pure olive oil that they used to light the holy sacred menorah in the temple. It would have taken 8 more days for that oil to get to the Temple Mount from the Mountain of Olives, which now is probably 20 minutes on a bus. But, back in the day, it was probably a much bigger deal. So it would have taken 8 more days. And here's the thing, guys. The 1 day's ration of oil lasted for 8 days. It's a magical miracle. So that's the happy one. Then you grow up.
Okay.
Hi.
The fire is okay?
Yeah, the fire's fine.
Because I smelled something.
It's pizza in the oven.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay. Good night. So, yeah. Let's start with at least the most positive Channukah story. So, let me try to get the facts. There was this big bad Greek guy. I'm trying to find the name of the Greek villain that she was up against. Holofernes. Okay, so who is that? How would you say his name in a non-Hebrew accent? Holofernes? Whatever. Anyway, okay. This guy. Here. I'm going to show you my screen. And not that screen. I want to share this screen. This is the guy, all right? I do not know how to pronounce that. Anyway, apparently he was not so nice, not nice to the Jews. He was not nice to the Jews, okay? And this is the story again. Anyway, but there was, here we go. What is the story of Judith and Holofernes? That is not true that it comes from the Bible. It's one of the external books to the Bible, as in one of the books that was voted like not important enough to go into the actual Bible. So Judith, who is our hero, took action against this guy. Okay. Apparently there was some kind of political dispute. Here are the parts that I remember, okay? Basically Holofernes was bad for the Jews. He, starved them and forbade them from doing the things that they needed to do. And Judith went to meet him, and she fed him milk, cheese, and wine. This is the version of the story I heard as a kid, okay? She fed this guy cheese and wine. She got him drunk, and she got him sleepy, and she cut off his head. Like a badass. Which is why she is a Channukah hero. I don't know. I'm sure there's more to it. I'm sure there's like, more stakes with like politics and why this guy was a bad guy, what he was actually doing, why this particular woman went to meet with him. But the moral of the story is, interestingly, the moral of the story in Judaism is that women have played an active part because they played an active part in the miracles of Hanukkah. Women actually have an equal obligation on this holiday as men do, and that is not trivial in Judaism. Now, there is a very solid Jewish feminist movement, so I'm not throwing this out lightly. I'm not like thanks. Yeah, right? I know it's like, I don't have all the details. They exist. I just don't feel like, looking it up right now and trying to but so I'm not tossing this out like as a thing that is acceptable, to have these differences in how, the religion treats men and women. But this is a thing, and it has been a thing for a very long time, and there's a lot of resistance to it. So just so you know, this is revolutionary. The fact that, women are considered obligated to light Hanukkah candles was revolutionary when it was written. So that's good stuff. Okay, there are two more boss women of Hanukkah who have slightly sadder stories than Judith. And we will hear about them after another productive sprint. How's that? That sound good? I think so. So I think that's what, no. That's not fair. I think that's what we'll do. How does that sound? 20, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready to write stuff and do productive stuff? And I need to stoke the fire And I think I have to go get pizza out of the oven. So, on your marks, get set, be productive. Okay, everybody. Time's up. Logo. How did everybody do? Tell you what I did. I finished the infographics that my mom wanted for her book, so that's good. She'll be very happy about that. I really hope she likes the design. She's asleep right now, so it's not like I can check with her. She's on Israel time. So tell me how you did. And while the what are you eyeing about, baby B? Did I scare you? Anyway, while the comments about how you all have been fabulously productive and have written all the words and gotten all the assignments done are still coming in with the delay of StreamYard, I'm going to tell you about another Channukah hero. And this one is a bit darker. Oh, sorry. Sorry. There was supposed to be a bell sound, and I don't know. Maybe the volume is turned. Oh. My volume is muted. That explains it. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's talk about the second boss woman of Channukah. Trigger warning, this is super sad. So one of the things that the big bad Greeks did while they were taking over Israel and, trying to control the Jews was they prohibited them from 3 major religious practices. Right? We talked about, sorry, the screen keeps bouncing. Okay. We talked about that last week, how they forbade circumcision and the study of Torah and the keeping of the Sabbath. But another thing that was kind of like not enough, because as we know, they found very sneaky ways. I just grabbed some of the sneaky ways. Very sneaky ways to continue to study Torah. That's right. For those of you who were not here last week, yes, the dreidel evolved as a pretext, as a secret, quick, let me hide these books and bring this out and pretend. So if the Greeks were, so what they would do is they would gather to do their Torah study, and they would like have a spy outside. And if the spy came and said, "Hey guys, the Greeks are coming," so they would quickly hide away all the books, whip out their little tops, which did not have letters on them back then. They were, I don't know what they were for, but they would whip out the tops and be like, "Hey, we just gathered to play this ridiculously childish gambling game. We're not doing anything forbidden at all." And that is why Jews play dreidel on Channukah. Fun. Anyway, so I don't know how you police circumcision. They do it on 8-day-old babies. It's not, you can pretty much do it in private, and unless you're going to go around pulling down everyone's pants, you can't, and these are babies, right? You can't exactly. It seems like a law that might be difficult to enforce. Anyway, at least back then. As for the Sabbath thing, it's so abstract. Sabbath is a spiritual experience. It's a thing you kind of really feel more than you sort of do. And there's like, okay, we light candles, we eat challah, but more than that, we rest and we have family dinner. And so I don't know, how are you can't force people to not experience peacefulness. So I'm not sure what the Greeks were thinking when they made these decrees. Probably not something practical. So yeah, so I'm packed with a lot of obscure knowledge about Judaism, and some of the facts are really fun, right? Okay, so where was I? We were going towards, okay, so the decrees didn't really seem to impact the Jews all too much because they seemed to find ways to do these important practices anyway. And so they did another thing. They tried to make them bow down to foreign idols. And this is a very, very big deal in Judaism. Let me just break this down on the principle kind of level, okay? One of our strongest principles in Judaism is that our lives are precious, life is valuable. And I do not mean that in the abortion sense. This is about babies who have already been born. Make no mistake, there's plenty of room for being pro-choice in Judaism. Okay, taking a step back from that. There was a time when babies were not even considered alive until they had already been a month old because of plagues and stuff. So we're talking about adults here, not babies, all right? So pretty much you're allowed to violate any commandment if that means it will save a life. If you need to light a fire on the Sabbath because someone is dying and they're cold, you're allowed to, absolutely 100%, not even allowed, you're supposed to. So that is a very strong principle. But there are 3 things we are supposed to die rather than violate. Okay? And these things are considered to be really, really bad. One of them is murder. Fair enough. Don't die rather than kill another person. Okay, you know what? Fine. I mean, killing by accident is a different story, but die rather than be forced to kill another person. The other one is, the second one is incest, which is, I'm not exactly sure what the modern interpretation of it is, but that is how the old language is structured. And the third one is idol worship. We are supposed to worship only our God and not have any kind of visual presentation of them. And God's pronouns are they, them. That was, yeah. I mean, not in most prayer books, but like, that's what I know. And so in like 300 BC, which is when the Channukah story takes place, historically, these things were a really, really big deal. It's not, we're talking very predominantly religious society, and like being forced to bow down to an idol is bad. That's like the ultimate humiliation, sacrificing your soul to the devil. I mean, it's bad. It's just, you do not want to do that. So this is one of those stories of the Greeks trying to do this stuff. It's a tale of 7 brothers who were, I'm going to say, probably of some kind of political importance. They were of some kind of societal importance. They had some kind of stature. And 7 brothers and their mother were called before the big bad guy. Let me see what is the specific bad guy in this. It says it was a king. I don't know what that means. There weren't kings. There were, the Greeks had all this very specific hierarchy. Whatever. Anyway, they were called before the person of political power in their location. And each brother, in turn, they called forward and they tried to convince them to bow down to this idol, which they were not supposed to do. And And every single one of them refused and was put to death. I did say this was going to get dark. 7 brothers, one at a time. And the hero of this story is their mother. And why? Because no matter what happened, she stuck with them and she continued to encourage them. And, you know, at no point, even knowing all of her sons were going to die, at no point did she say, it's fine, just give in, they're going to kill us all, just bow down, whatever. Which would be my instinct, you know, honestly, like, just bow down, who gives a shit, right? That's what I think on at first glance. It's like, bow down to the fucking idol. Like, who cares? They can't force you to believe that this idol is your God. Your faith is your own faith. It's abstract. They can't take that from you. Bow down is just for show. Whatever. Stay alive, right? But then I understood it on a different level. Here's where it gets whack, right? Has anybody read The House of Spirits by Isabel Allende? Happy Channukah, Dana. Hi, what's up? So The House of Spirits is a really awesome magical realism fiction / memoir story about the Chilean Revolution. It follows like 4 generations or something. It's really, honestly, it's really beautiful. But it's terrifying also. It's really, really terrifying and triggery, and don't be fooled by anybody who's like, oh, that's such a beautiful book. Yes, it is. It is a beautiful book with Holocaust level crap at the end. And I'm not saying that it wasn't well written. I'm not saying that it's not accurate. I don't know. I just know I was not prepared for it. It was really bad. So there's this one scene right after the president is like kidnapped and killed, where the guys who are in the charge of the coup approach one of the main characters and they say, we want you to go on television and say publicly that you saw that the president committed suicide. So here's where this kind of, I think, matches. I think it kind of fits the analogy. When you're a public figure and your country is in a state of war and people look up to you, if you display a lack of faith or fear, that can really, really impact how the rest of the people feel. And so this character, of course, says, I'm not fucking doing that. You fucking do that. You killed the president. You clean up the dirty work. I'm not going on TV and lying for you. And of course, then he's put to death. So, but then, you know, how could he say that? Of course he couldn't say that. He can't be the person responsible for giving the public example of giving up. And so I think that is what these people felt in that moment of bow down to this idol or die. Bowing down to the idol is a symbol of giving up. It's a symbol of the Jews are not going to survive, and our religion is not going to survive, and our culture is not going to survive, so just give up, whatever. There's no hope. And that's a very, very powerful message. And so to be able to, in the face of such power and the threat of a horrific death, or watching your 7 sons be slaughtered, to be able to not cave to that kind of pressure because you have a people that is depending on you to still have courage. Damn, that's bravery. That's a hero. And it's not simple. Don't conquer other nations and try to force them to give up their values. Okay? Yeah. So, should we do another one? I have a couple more assignments to do for Mom's website. I have to see what they are. Blah, blah, blah. Got it. Okay. Yes, I have to do a few things on the actual website as opposed to for the book. So I say we do another sprint, and then I'll tell you about the... Have you seen that movie? Wait, what movie? What movie? What movie? Did they make House of Spirits into a movie? Ah! No. What movie is this? Wait, I gotta stoke the fire. I don't know what it was called. Fire. Do it. It was about a Catholic priest who has to travel to Japan to introduce Jesus to these villagers. I mean, I'm familiar with that particular plot, but not necessarily about Japan. Okay, guys. What's the movie called? I'm on fire. You can do it. Light up. See the fire. This is what's happening right now, and it's like, meh, I'm cold. Oh yeah. Yes. That's why I think knowing the history of our ancestors is important. To be strong and keep your faith when the world is against you is a truly powerful thing. It's true. It's true. And, you know, it's not just that. It's also important to realize that, you know, at the end of the day, we're all people of values. And to be able to not just have values and follow them blindly, but make a judgment call in a moment, in a critical moment about what really matters bottom line, you know? And this is what I think a lot of Judaism is about, and I think a lot of people really get this wrong. Because they're like, you know, bet you've heard this one before, right? Well, the Bible says homosexuality is an abomination. Look, guys, it's true. It's true. The Bible does say it. But the Bible also says love your neighbor like yourself. And I just feel like that one passage in the Bible talking about loving your neighbor is of so much greater value than the little tiny, you know, commas and little tiny odds and ends that tell us that homosexuality is an abomination. Because Nana eats shellfish. Shellfish is trafe as fuck. Not allowed to eat shellfish. Eating shellfish is an abomination too. But damn if she ain't the best friend of queer people in this town. You know, it's people like to say, well, you can't pick and choose. Well, guess what? Yes, you can. Every single denomination of this religion is about deciding what is important to you and what is not. So, yes, you can, and we do. We literally all do it all the time. Okay, BBB is talking about yes, you spoil the ending, that's fine, because I'm probably not going to watch it. So, there's a huge idea clashes, right? Feudal Japan did not really have religion. The priest is taken prisoner by the emperor, pretty much given this task, step on a painting of Jesus, right? Crap. And if he doesn't, a dozen prisoners get killed. Yikes. Because the emperor wants to test his devotion. So it's a super intense moment. And then he hears Jesus talk to him. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, wait, is it the same thing? I don't know. I get really confused. And he says, it's okay, do it. I will forgive you. Do it. Ex-weirdo roommate. I have those. This is the roommate now? Right. Even though she was an awful person who claimed to be faithful. Right. And she was like, well, I wouldn't have done that. How do you live with yourself? Well, because you saved 12 prisoners from being killed. That's how. And I was like, he knows that he's faithful, etc. It's just interesting. Yeah, I agree it's interesting. I also agree it's interesting. It commands us to love everyone. Exactly. It doesn't trump. Exactly. It doesn't trump. And you know, there's just so many things. There's so many things that are wrong with judging another person for openly admitting that they violate one specific commandment. Because another principle of Judaism is that we all know we're all sinners. We have a day every year that's literally just devoted 100% to fasting and begging forgiveness for all of our sins. And everybody has to fast, and we ask forgiveness. Our prayers are all in the plural form because we ask forgiveness in the name of everyone. It's not just about our own personal sins. It's about asking forgiveness for everyone. So it's like we know that all of us are making mistakes. We know that all of us are human. We know we're all making mistakes. This is a huge principle in Judaism. We have the freedom of choice. We are not angels. We're humans. We, ate from the tree of knowledge. And so we know right from wrong, and we have the ability to choose. And that means we also have the drive to do evil sometimes. And we make mistakes. We all know this. Everyone makes mistakes, and everyone is a sinner. So, let he among us without sin be the first to come down. Am I right? You can't. Every single person that I've ever heard bring this quote, or at least, a similar quote, and be like, oh, Judaism can't, you Jewish people, there's no room for homosexuals in the Judaism. Well, let me tell you, every single one of you is a gossip. There's no room for you either. And let me tell you about selling your bread to a neighbor on Passover, because that is a joke. Okay? If we can sell our bread, we're really not allowed to eat bread on Passover. It's super, super bad. Okay? But there's this crazy loophole where people can sell it to a non-Jew and then automatically buy it back on Passover. So it's technically not yours, and then you can have it in the house. And rabbis just totally accept this as legitimate. And what I say is, if we can sell our bread over the fucking internet, that's what I did last year because my roommate wanted me to. So we sold our bread on the internet. If you can get there, y'all can accept the gays that live among you and whose lives are at risk. That's what I think. Jesus isn't the picture. What do you mean by this? I feel like religion is meant to be a guide as to how to be human, like love people, don't murder, etc. Like some of the rules are odd. Don't eat this, don't drink that. It's true. I mean, yeah. Some of the rules in Judaism are so fucking odd. I mean, Google red heifer, tell me if you understand it. That shit is fucked up and weird AF, and like, okay. It's just, yeah, for sure. But I mean, I think there's also, you know, it's supposed to be a guide. Our, you know, the Torah, the Bible, is supposed to be a moral compass, but it's not. I heard somebody say, probably give the best metaphor, it's not a compass, it's a magnifying glass. And it just makes you more of the person you already are. So you read the Torah through the lens that you already have. You understand it through the morals you already hold. And it's true, because I just blogged about this a little while back, because I was part of this, I still occasionally am part of this project, Project 929, that reads a chapter a day in the Old Testament. And there was this one about, oh yes, exactly. It's not Jesus. It's not the actual Jesus. It's a picture of Jesus. Right. I agree. Yes. So I was saying that there was this one chapter that was like super weird about how like it was like talking about how disabled priests are exempt from serving in the temple, and P.S. If the priests in Judaism are like it's a born lineage. It's one of the 12 tribes are the priesthood. So if there is a woman from the priesthood who dies a virgin, then her brother is allowed to accompany her death, which is, they're not supposed to, because they're supposed to remain pure, and death is contaminating, and so they're not supposed to go into graveyards. But in this particular case, they're allowed to. And I was like, this is so fucked up. What the hell is this? I was reading this chapter like, what? But then I realized, you know, it's not trying to say that priests, that disabled priests are impure and therefore can't serve in the temple. It's trying to say that they shouldn't have to, and that we should respect them, and we should let them eat from the donations even though they don't serve because they're disabled. And that's me. That's the thing, is that any person can look at this chapter and read, oh, well, disabled people are impure and can't serve in the temple. Or they can read it like I did. You know, and they can read, oh, well, you know, a priest, a woman priest is dying a virgin is like, you know, the only thing about her that's important is her virginity, so her brother has to be there. Or you can understand that if she died a virgin, she's probably alone. Because that's what it was back then. Women moved out of their father's house and into their husband's houses. So if she died a virgin, there might not be anybody else to mourn her. And so her brother should be allowed to mourn her, so somebody accompanies her death. And it just doesn't matter what it says. You can just read it and you just read it and you understand it through the lens you already have. And it is absolutely used as a weapon sometimes, and that's the worst. Want to do another sprint? There's another badass boss lady of Channukah that I haven't told you about yet. So let's do another sprint. All right. And we can have more of this really awesome conversation later. Are you ready? Are you set? I'm not. And go. Oh, there it is. Right. My volume was turned all the way down. Okay. I'm going to eat pizza. Bye. Time's up. And everybody's gone. Oh, nope. Not everybody. The important people are still here. And I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate it very much. So, were you all very productive and efficient? I was not. I was like, nope, I don't feel like doing any more work tonight. So I wrote 2 cards for my card game. They're both very funny, and one of them is really dark. And then I chatted with someone on Facebook. That was my productivity for tonight. But I was productive. I mean, I finished all the infographics. Hello. That was a big deal. So, do you want to hear about the 3rd boss woman of Channukah? Because I am here and ready to tell you about it. Is anyone still here? Okay. Well, fine. I'm just gonna talk into the camera, and if you guys are here, that's fine. And if you're watching it later, that's also fine, right? Who cares? Time is an illusion. Okay. So here's another thing the Greeks did. And this one is going to strike you as really nasty, as it did strike the Jews of back then as really nasty as well. Now I'm looking for the vocabulary. What are the specific different kinds of Greek people that, okay. There was a decree. Let's say, where is this? I feel like it was a sister. I feel like it was a sister of the Maccabees who's in this story. Here it is. Okay. Right. Okay. Hegemon, that's the word. Okay. So basically, yeah, well, whatever. It's late. We're tired. It's a holiday. It's holiday season. There is not actually getting stuff done in the air all around us. So here's the final story. The Greek hegemon, don't know what that word is. Anyway, Greek person in lots of power decreed that every Jewish bride must be taken to his bedchamber before she could consummate her marriage with her husband. And that obviously enraged a lot of people. And the story goes that a daughter of the Hashmonai family, which was they were like the priesthood royalty. This is the same family that the Maccabees were from. So it could have been a sister and a niece, whatever, some young relative of the Maccabees. And when this decree was published or whatever, publicized, she ran naked through the town square in protest and screamed and cried out in anger against this decree. And that apparently, according to legend and lore, that act is what sparked the revolt of the Maccabees against the Greeks. So this would be the inciting incident of the Channukah story. This action is what actually started the war. And so, dang. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I mean, I look back on it and I think, like, I understand why she was upset, but I'm a little bit concerned about why the men were upset. Like, I'm a little worried, I'm a little worried that they were looking at this, not in the same way that we are now. I feel like they might have been really worried about their property losing its value, which makes it even more fucked up. But that's what things were like back then, right? I don't think this was about, I mean, obviously for the women, this was about the horrific experience of doing that. And for the men, it might not have been. And that freaks me out even more. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which way you look at it. From an ancient point of view, it was fucked up. And in a modern point of view, it was fucked up. And no matter what lens you're using to read the story, that girl or woman, that woman is a badass. That has got to have taken so much guts. I mean, wow. I mean, yeah, I can't even. This is a time when women did not do anything like this. I mean, well, okay, here we are in stories. Women beheading someone, right? So women didn't behead people, well, except for that one time. Running naked in the town square, screaming your head off. I would have been terrified they would have just grabbed me and killed me right there, But damn. She started a fucking revolution. That is a boss woman. That's a boss woman right there. And so, in conclusion, the story of Channukah is not just all about miracles of oil lasting longer than it should have, burning in candles, which is, by the way, something that happens all the time, actually. But is, obviously still a miracle in that capacity. It's also about religious persecution and oppression and rising up against your oppressors and prevailing. And, we don't have... Oh, wow. You are a hero, Dana. I'm sure we all agree. That is very important. Not opposed to tattoos, just save them from a bad one. That's important. Yeah, so, it's about having faith and just barreling on through. And it's about the example that you set when people look up to you and you're in a position of power, and how your words as a public figure are given more weight. So you can't just say whatever you want to save your own ass because you have people looking up to you. Oh, what'd you miss? You have a new baby! I'm assuming that means a furry baby. You missed a daughter in a woman in the Maccabees family who did a badass feminist protest and started a revolution. Yeah, it was nasty. It was nasty, and she was a badass, and it started a revolution. And yeah, so it's about, listening to women when they speak up and say, guys, this is fucked up, this needs to stop. And it's about doing what's right for your community, even if it means you have to get a guy drunk and cut his head off. So what is the moral of this story? The moral of this story is that Channukah is a holiday that is all about disillusionment. Because when you're a child, it's magical. You get presents, and you light the menorah, and everyone is at home, and it's all snuggly in fleece blankets because it's cold outside. And there's the magical miracle story of the Hanukkah menorah light, and the light lasted for 8 days, even though the oil was only enough for 1 day. And the Maccabees were heroes, and they didn't bow down to the idols, and they didn't eat the pig, even though the Greeks tried. And, they didn't stop studying the Torah because they had the dreidels. And then you grow up and you discover that Hanukkah is a phony holiday on which you have to go to work. What kind of holiday is that? Hanukkah is a minor holiday in Judaism. Jews do normal stuff on Hanukkah. It's just another day, basically, and we light candles at night. But it's not like one of the high holidays on which we stop everything, and we don't even go to synagogue on Hanukkah. It's just, there are, of course, those of us who go to synagogue every day who are very serious, but we add a little paragraph to our grace after meals. Wow. Ooh, okay. Thanks, rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub and that one miracle. Okay. Hanukkah's a fake holiday. The magical stories of the Maccabees are actually super dark. And like many things, it probably has pagan roots, and yeah, it's weird. It's a weird holiday. Ramadan is a serious one. What holiday? Yeah, it's like a month of fasting, but it's a Muslim holiday, isn't it? It's also, the Muslim holidays are like, they have a completely different calendar. So Jews have the lunar calendar, which we actually had some of our rabbis sit down and line it up with the solar calendar and put in leap years so that every 19 years it would reset. So that's why the Jewish holidays pretty much fall around the same time every year, and the Muslim holidays don't. You're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed. Yes, I am packed with info like this, and I'm sure I'm going to be doing more of these. So if there's a particular subject you're interested in, related to Judaism and Israeliness and the Middle East, then shoot me a message. Happy to talk my mouth off about it. Anyway, good night, and thank you for the good 8 nights. It's night number 2 right now. Okay, fine. Yes, Ramadan is a Muslim holiday. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I have to say about Hanukkah. Oh, and I don't like latkes. And I don't like, I mean, I'll eat the applesauce by itself, but not the latkes. I do have about 6.5 halved Dunkin' Donuts, though, sitting here next to me in the living room. Can you see them? Let's see. Yep, there they are. Just sitting there, not being eaten. And I've already had like 3 halves. And there were like 7 people here before. And they each had some. So it makes me wonder, how many did I start with? Yep, there are more. There are lots more. So I hope you enjoyed. I am actually kind of really tired, so I think I might go to bed. Oh, wait, one more thing. Look what I did on my nails. Can you see that? Wait. Yom Kippur, yes. Yes, Yom Kippur is, in fact, a very serious Jewish holiday. There we go. Okay, sort of see it. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, what's going on is I'm showing my nail polish to the camera. Or are you just saying, hey, what's up? Yes, that's the one I was talking about before, where we literally fast for 25 hours and beg forgiveness in the plural because we know all of us are sinners. That's Yom Kippur. It is absolutely a very, very serious, major holiday. Nobody goes to work. In Israel, there isn't public transportation. I mean, that's true every Saturday also, but this is this is another level. The country shuts down. Even the secular people don't get in their cars and drive. It's like, it's also seen as like, people call it the biking holiday because the streets are just empty and kids just ride their bikes because nobody drives, because that's how serious a holiday it is. So they're not, so it's like, so like on these 2 fingers, where are they? On these 2 fingers, I've got like candles. This is, which direction is this? Like a candle, it's like a color with a little gold sort of light. And then on these, this is so confusing. I have like a split lit menorah sort of. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Channukah. You say menorah, but that's the wrong word. And it drives me nuts. And I can't believe I just made that mistake myself. Yeah, it's not a menorah. Menorah is the Hebrew word for lamp. When I flip the light switch in my bedroom, that's turning on the menorah. The thingy that I know in America it's called a menorah, but in Israel we call it a Channukah, which is literally just a Hanukkah thing. It's like the thing for Hanukkah, you know, which that's obviously more correct. So the menorah, the original menorah was in the temple and it had 7 branches. And the ones we light, which are designed specifically for 8 nights of Hanukkah and the one extra, which is the candle you use to light all the other candles, the shamash, those have 9. So it's not a menorah. This bothers me a lot. It's just, I don't know. There are just some things that are like, American Jewry. What'd you do? What did you do? What did you do to our beautiful language? And menorah instead of Hanukkah is one of them. Yeah. Also, today, when we were at the supermarket, I saw a lady with a really nice kind of shawl on her head. And I was like, hey, that's a really pretty head covering. And my Nana says it's called a babushka. And I was like, what? Babushka? Isn't babushka like, doesn't that mean grandmother? And she's like, no, it means that head covering. And I was like, what? I'm confused. Why would it mean that? I mean, maybe babushka is the person who wears stuff like that, but like, why would that? Anyway, hi Meadow. I'm happy to see you, but yes, we are ending this. Sorry, it's over. Can't go on this way. It's not you, it's me. I've been streaming for 2.5 hours. 2 hours, and I'm a little bit more. Anyway, I really had a good time talking y'all's ears off about Judaism. It is, right? Yes. It's head covering? Why did I confuse it for grandmother? Help. Oh my god, it's the same word. That's why. Ugh. And there's like some tiny little subtlety, right? That's like oh my god. Wait, so it's babushka, which is the head covering, and babushka is grandma. Am I getting this right? Oh my god. By the way, you know that in Arabic they don't have that? They just like don't have emphasis. I was talking, we were learning this new word that has like 2 syllables, and I was like, well, do you say like madaf or madaf? And he's like, what? He just totally didn't understand what we were talking about. Like, it was the emphasis on the first syllable or the second syllable. He's like, you just say it like madaf, and like, okay, well, is it the first or the second? Which is like, what? In Hebrew, it's very strict. Everything is either on the last syllable or the second to last syllable. And if it's anything other than one of those, it's from another language. Okay. My leg is hurting. So I've had a really good time. Thanks everybody for stopping in. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button, but you probably already did if you're here anyway. So flip it. Flip it. Babushka is grandma. Babushka is head covering. Okay. It's funny. It's like, that's actually my Israeli accent, but I'm going to say that we have probably a lot of letters in common, and we have a lot of Russians in our country. A lot. Because when shit got bad for the Jews in Russia, Israel was an easy place to get to. So there's a lot of them. Yeah. Good night. I'm ending the stream. Bye, y'all. Yay. Haha. Da. Okay. I don't remember any other words. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Okay. Good night, everybody. Happy Chanukah. Happy Chanukah, as I say. If your grandma was Jewish, you can get Israeli citizenship. One Jewish grandparent. It's true. Might not be such a bad thing. Good night, everybody. Happy Chanukah. Happy holidays. Happy whatever. And if you're celebrating, enjoy. If you're not celebrating, enjoy. And remember, blood relatives are not the only family we have. This is a time that can be very difficult for a lot of people. And just close your eyes, breathe, stick it out. Remember that there are people who love you and accept you for who you are. I swear I'm going off now. I swear I'm ending this.